Good morning. Happy Monday. Hope you had a fabulous weekend. Okay, Barney wants to get down. Oh my goodness, it's going to be 99 degrees here today. We had a crazy hailstorm yesterday. 10 minutes away where my sister lives, it was literally this big. The hail was this big. So just grateful for my garage because I know, gosh, in Denver, my niece one year, it was so bad that she had $2,000 worth of damage. I think maybe it was 1,000, but anyway, it was crazy. So how was your weekend? Mine was so wonderful. I got Saturday. There's 3 other girlfriends I have that all celebrate their birthdays in June. So we kind of lumped all of our birthdays together because mine is the end of the month on the 28th. And we just had a lovely get together at Wash Park, and we had water balloon fights. We had a unicorn piñata. We had cornhole and frisbee. It was hot, but we had a nice shady area. David was cooking up this really delicious meat for tacos. And it was just good to feel like a kid again, to be out and running around and active like that. And I'm just wondering how your weekend was. Good morning. Good morning, ladies. How are you doing today? How are you feeling? I think most of you saw my video from yesterday because it was too hot. I had to go to my gym to work out. And because this is June Jubilation Month and energizing your body and increasing stamina and endurance, I challenged myself yesterday. So I did 1 hour on the elliptical and I challenged myself on levels, so I would go as fast as I could on a level and then I'd bring it back down to kind of a normal pace and then kind of challenge myself that way. That's a great way to do it, by the way. Even if you're going for a walk, maybe like for 1 minute, you challenge yourself by incorporating those upper body exercises I told you with the short band or with a hand towel, just to try to build that stamina a little bit. Good morning, Betsy. How are you doing? So today we're going to do my lower body workout. As you know, I'm going to take some time to warm up your lower body, and then we're going to start with kind of some board basics, and then we're going to launch into some more of our challenging exercises and balance drills that really do build that stamina in our quadriceps and our hamstrings, but also really working that joint stability for our ankles and our knees and our hips and our low backs. So I'm gonna turn on some music and then we're just gonna get started, okay? I didn't have it quite ready, so I'm gonna go back here and grab it. But you can put on your own music, because I don't think you can really hear mine that well. So I really encourage you to put on your own music, something that you love, that motivates you and energizes you, okay? So what we're gonna do first is we're just gonna warm up those hips, okay? So we're just gonna do a nice, easy circle out, keep that standing leg bent, and just really opening those hips. And if you wanna just keep your foot on the floor and do a more modified version, that's fine. But if you feel pretty good and you wanna go through this full range of motion, just make sure you use your breath, never holding your breath, keeping your back straight and your chest lifted. And you're just breathing normally here. We're just kind of slowly, getting some good circulation and blood pumping into those tight hip flexors. And we're just going to do a couple more here. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to kick it out a little bit. Just a nice, easy kick out to release it a little bit. How are you feeling today? Are you feeling strong? Did you get a good night's sleep? I hope so. I know I did. I am sleeping so good these days. It's kind of crazy. Okay, let's just get a couple more of these. And then we are going to switch. So first we're going to just stabilize, as always, keeping that standing leg bent, and just circle it out. It was so funny. If you could have seen us acting like children on Saturday with our water balloon fights, but I have to tell you, I got drenched. But it was welcomed, you know, because it was so hot and steamy here. And then one of the guys brought this giant unicorn piñata, and we all had our turn and like banging the heck out of it. Couldn't break it open. So Marlena, my friend, who we were celebrating her birthday as well, just finally just grabbed it and smashed it. Because the little kids were getting impatient for the candy inside. Okay, let's just do one more of these and then kick it out. So hopefully I distracted you a little bit there, because, you know, sometimes when you're opening up those hip flexors, you can really feel it. Good morning, Daresha. How are you doing today? Just nice, easy kicks. Let's get 4 more. And last time. Okay, let's now warm up our calf muscles. Got to do it. So we're just going to lift and lower. Exhale as you lift. So what did you do this weekend? Were you able to get out and about? Okay, we're going to hold this next one at the top and little presses up, up. Exhale for 4, 3, 2. Hold it at the top. And release. Now bring the heels together and bring those toes out. And lift and lower. Just easing you in today. And we're going to just do 4 more of these, and then we're going to do those little presses at the top. Now hold this one and up. 2 more. Hold it up and release. Good. Now bring the toes together and the heels out and lift and lower. So are you feeling stiffness today anywhere? Do you need to modify in any particular area? You know there's always a good modifier, right? Because I know from your comments, it sounds like maybe you're pushing yourself sometimes a little harder than you need to. I just want to always make sure that you know that you just can go at your own pace, and you know that this is your workout, and so you really need to listen to your body, okay? Now hold it at the top. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, hold it up. Release it down, and let's kick it out again. Good morning, Vicki. You're up. That's about it, right? I hear you. I got the AC going. I got fans blasting down here. Yikes. Kick it. Release it. And let's do 4 and 3 and and 2, and last time. And now let's warm up our low back. Okay, so we're just gonna do that cat-cow where we inhale, arch your back. Exhale, draw the belly button into your lower back. Inhale, arch, look up. Exhale, draw it in tight. Inhale, look up. And exhale, chin to chest, really rounding that back. Inhale, look up. Exhale, contract those abdominals as tight as you can. Inhale, look up. Exhale. Again. And 2 more times. And last one here. And then come back up to standing, and we're going to warm up those hamstrings. So step back, and you're just going to do a straight leg lift. So I do want you to keep those hips stable and facing forward, and you're just going to your natural range of motion here. Exhaling up, that standing leg is always bent to take the pressure off. Use your breath. Doesn't matter how high that leg goes. You just want to put all your focus on your hamstrings, okay? Keep your abdominals in tight. Use that breath. For 4, 3, and 2, then hold it at the top. Now look, we're just going to curl and press out. So you're not altering your hip position. Use your breath. How are you doing? 4, 3, 2, last one, let's hold it. And release. Okay, let's just walk it out a little bit to release it before we switch to the other leg. And then when you're ready, stabilize. Straight leg lift. So you should also feel this in your glutes. Use your breath. Also, I want to just always remind you, you've got to stay hydrated. So if you're ever feeling the need, please just go grab your water, take about 3 gulps, not big gulps, but hydrate throughout this workout, okay? And throughout the day, always. Let's just get 2 more of these and then hold it at the top, and let's curl. Curl. Really squeeze into those hamstrings. Keep your abdominals in tight. Nice long neck here. Working those hamstrings. Okay, we're going to do 4 more of these. And last one, let's hold it at the top. And release. And then just do a nice little march. Just to release it out. So are you ready? We're going to move to the back of the board. Grab your chair. Go, Barney. Always have it nearby, just in case. a drink of water. And what we're going to do first is we're going to start on one side of the pole. We're going to do a side step. We're going to lift the knee, bring it down, and then we're going to switch in opposite directions. So you can put your hands on the pole. So it's just a simple side step, then lift your knee and hold. Then bring it down, side step, lift the knee, hold. Just checking your balance. And here we go, side step, lift, hold. Pick that focal point, standing leg stays bent, and release. Side step, lift, hold, and release. Again, side step. Now this time we're going to lift, stabilize, extend. Exhale out. Squeeze into your quadriceps at the top. You got that? Let's do two more and hold it at the top. Bring it in, step it down. Switch, lift, stabilize. Here we go. Extend. Last two here. And hold. Bring it in. Step down. Good. Now we're going to do a side step. And we're going to do a lateral, a side leg lift. Step, side leg lift. Lead with the heel of that foot. And take your time. Step, drop the board, lift, and down. Step, step, lift, and down. Now on this next one, we're going to hold and do repeaters. So stop here, lift, lift, abs in tight, standing leg is bent, foot stays parallel to the floor. Use that breath for 4, 3, 2, and hold it at the top. And release. Okay, we're switching. Step, step. Here we go. Stabilize, lift. Really working those abductors now. Breathe. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Now we're going to side step it. And we're going to go into that inner thigh lift. Lift. So just tap the toe down, knee comes out at a 45-degree angle. Keep those hips forward. Standing leg is bent. 4, 3, 2, hold it at the top. And release. Okay, we're going to switch. Step, step, stabilize. Heel to the front of that toe, angle it out, lift. So just the inner thighs are lifting that leg. Stay tall though. Use your breath. And let's do 2 more and hold it at the top. and release. Okay, now we are gonna come center. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna step back with the right leg. We're gonna walk down, let the knee touch the floor, then walk back up, bring your foot back up to standing. Keep the board center, step back, walk down, let the knee touch, walk back up, and bring it back to standing. But now look, the modifier would be step back, just drop partially down, and then step back up. Step back, drop partially down, and back up. But if you want to do the more advanced step back, walk down, let the knee touch that floor. Use this thigh to bring you back up and then stand. So let me know how you're doing with this. Keep the board center. Take your time. Really using that stamina and strength in your quadriceps to get you back up. Step back far enough so you can do that vertical drop, okay? And again, don't worry if you have to do the modifier. You're still working the same muscle groups, okay? I just don't want you to stress your knees. I don't want you to feel pain in your knees. So this is really starting to work that brain-body connection, right? Because we're also trying to keep that board center. Really challenging the lower body here. How are you doing? You got this? Okay, this is the last one. And then stay here. Okay, now we're gonna open the feet a little wider. Now we're gonna release it, doing our hamstring curls. Use your breath. Keep the board center. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Side step it. Just release, release. And then bring it to the center and step it out. How did you do with that one? Always listening to your body. Never forcing anything, okay? Proper alignment is key. Good morning, whoever popped in. I'm so happy you're here. Okay, now are you ready for the next exercise? Excuse me. We're going to use the chair. So bring the chair behind the board. And we're going to have a seat. Make sure those feet are right behind the board. So what we're going to do is we're going to stand up, and we're going to step up onto the board. We're going to step back down and sit. So we're going to stand up, step up behind 2 and 2, rock side to side, find your center, engage your core, breathing. Then drop the board, step down, down, and take a seat. Okay, now we're going to lead with the other leg as we step up, okay? So stand up, drop the board, step up, rock side to side, find your center. Think about those pressure points in your feet, engage your core, Tighten those glutes, relax those shoulders. If you can take your hands off, that's great. You don't have to. Then drop the board, step down, and take a seat. Again, step up with the right, rock side to side. Find your center. Really working the balance today. How are you doing? I bet you can find your balance a lot faster because you guys have been really consistent in my class. And then drop it down, step down, and take a seat. Okay, we're gonna do that one more time. Step up with the left, rock side to side. Find your center. You got it? Can you take one hand off? How about the other? Don't hold your breath. Working those stabilizers. Working that proprioception connection. Okay? And then drop the board, step down, and take a seat. Okay, now we're just simply gonna do the squat and sit. So you can use your hands or you can use the poles. But make sure you have a solid, firm seat there, okay? You can do it this way, keep the board center, or put your hands on your thigh and just stand on up. Let's do 4 more of these. And last one here. And then we're going to step up again behind the 2 and the 2, rock side to side. And then right away, find your center. Tuck that pelvis under. Keep your knees soft, breathing. And if you're feeling stable, again, you can take one hand off. And if that feels good, take the other hand off. How are you doing? You got that? And then drop the board, step down and down. Okay, we are going to move the chair out of the way. And we're going to continue on with just a step up and a step down. Step up, step down. Step up, step down. Just start getting the feel of that board. And it's rocking like that and uneven. Make sure you have the proper foot placement here. And try not to grip those poles too tight, but they're there. And now we're going to add a leg curl to this and step down. So step up behind the 1 and then curl with the other leg. Step, curl. Step, curl. You got that? If you want to add the arm, if you're feeling good, just to increase the energy level a little bit, but you don't have to, only if you're feeling steady. You can keep looking at that foot placement behind the number 1. do a couple more of these, and then we're gonna do those repeaters, okay? Last time each side. Now let's do the repeaters. 1, tap, 2. Keep the standing leg bent. How are you doing? Try to keep the resistance there. Control it. Keep your chest lifted. Use your breath. 4, 3, 2, last one. Let's hold it at the top. If you're feeling stable, if you want to try to take that hand off, only if you're feeling really solid and really focusing on the pressure points in that standing foot. And then step down and down, and we're going to switch right away. So step up, go into those repeaters. Just let the foot tap the floor. Squeeze your hamstrings each time. How are you doing? You hanging in there? Let's do 4 more of these. 1, 2, 3. Hold it at the top. Okay, I feel pretty good, so I'm going to give it a try. This is tough, so don't force this. I'm shaking a lot. Challenging those muscles, those stabilizers, just challenge them a little bit more, and then step down, and then just alternate, release it out. Keep that board center. How did you do? You can pick up the pace here if you want. 4, 3, and 2, and 1, side step. Keep it lower if you like. That just works your thighs a little bit more. For 4, 3, and 2, and 1, bring it center, step it out. Okay, do you need another drink of water? I think I do. Okay, what we're going to do is a braiding walk. So you're going to step behind the board, give yourself enough space. So look, you're going to step behind, then step together. Step behind you, step, and center. Now if you want to go closer to the poles, because you need those poles, that's okay. Step, cross behind you, step, feet together, step, cross back, step side, together. How are you doing with this? Takes a little bit coordination. Stay nice and tall, listening to your knees. You got it? Step, cross, step, together. So if this bothers your knees, simply do the side step, okay? You don't have to cross it back if you don't want to. But look, see how my hips are stable. So always paying attention to that proper alignment and taking your time. If you need the poles, they're right there. Just going to do one more on each side. Here we go. Good. Now we're just going to do that power side step. And you can come down lower. And then we're going to hold it to the side. And we're just going to go into those inner thigh kicks. Excuse me. So bring the heel to the front of the bottom foot. Point your toe, angle it out, and kick. Focusing now on your inner thigh. Exhale. Chest lifted. Strong kick. Abdominals are in tight here. Use your breath. Let's get 4, 3, and 2, and 1. Bring it down, power side step it. Good, heel to the front of that toe. Angle it out, standing leg is bent, point the toes. Kick. Strong kick. You got that? Let's do 2 more here. Good. Okay, let's power side step it. And we're just going to do 1 more each side. And then we're going to bring it back to the center and step it out. Okay, next exercise we're going to do, we're going to come to the back of the board, to the side of the board. Okay, so first drop that board, step up with your left foot, grab the front pole, step up with your right, bend your knees, and then just go forward and back. The rocking horse is always a great exercise. Thinking about always pushing into the ball of the foot, then to the heel of that back foot. And then when you're feeling pretty good, let's find that center. So it's always really good if you pick a focal point, you start really focusing in on those pressure points in your feet, engage your core, use your breath. This is always much more of a challenge for me to hold my balance in this direction. So this is a good challenge. A good way to just work on building that stamina and endurance. I'm going to get it. And then just lift and lift. Release, release. Are you getting better with that one? With the rocking horse, the stationary lunge position. Yesterday I was just testing myself on the Bosu ball, you know, because before I worked on this board for as long as I have, I would go in the gym and once in a while I'd grab the Bosu ball to try to do a squat on there, grab some weights and do biceps while on the Bosu ball. And I really had a hard time, you know. But since working with this board, it was a piece of cake. I did an announcement while on the board, on the Bosu ball. So that feels pretty good, doesn't it, when you see your progress? I'm wondering where you've seen your progress the most. Okay, let's just do 2 more of these. And then we're going to step to the center. And we're going to just go into a calf raise here, trying to maintain that center. So we're really working those calf muscles now. Breathing deeply. Are you able to maintain it? Breathe. And then drop the heels. And then we're going to keep the board down, step down and down. Then we're going to come to the other side. So we're stepping up with the right. Grab that front pole. Good morning. I see somebody popped in. Can't see who from this distance, but welcome. So we're just, again, focusing more at the front of the foot than the back of the foot. Keeping their chest up. And then when you're feeling pretty good, we're going to go for that center. This is always the tricky part. So I'm going to work my inner focus now. Where do you feel this the most? I mean, kind of tune into your body and what muscles are being activated the most. Are you evenly distributing your weight? I'm going to hold it for a few more seconds here. Trying my best. Okay, good. Release. Lift the knee. Curl the leg. Lift the knee. Curl. So make sure you've got that proper foot placement. If you need to look down, that's okay. And let's just get 4 and 3. Here's 2 and 1. Good. Okay, now we're going to step on that center line. We're going to come up into that calf raise and then try your best to stabilize center. If you want to try, look into the right and center, left and center. I'm really pulling my lower stomach in tight. Feeling pretty good on this side. And then drop the heels, drop the board, step down and down. How did you do? Just curl it out, release. Okay, you're going to get a drink of water before we launch into our squats because you know that's always our most challenging, the challenging time for this workout, right? But it's always such a great way to gauge, you know, your progress and how much you are building the strength and the stamina, okay? But you're always just taking your own time, doing it as many reps or holding it as long as feels good for you. When you have good form, when your form starts to falter, that's when you know it's time to come on out of it, okay? Let's sidestep it. And and then step it out. Push that heel into the floor. Then push both heels down. Get a quick drink of water. And we are going to come up first behind the 3 and the 3. Toes straight ahead, knees bent, hips back. Now look, doing a squat in this position is always more challenging, but that's the name of the game today, okay? So let's find that center, engage your core. Keep the chest lifted, push those hips back. Are you able to maintain the center while maintaining this position? Now, if you are, I'm going to go into some reps, okay? So you're going to sit back and back up. This is very tricky, so just do the best you can. I'm really thinking about pushing my feet into the board as I come up. And I'm not fully standing and, coming to a locked out position. Just push those heels in. Keep those hips way back. How are you doing with this? If you need to walk your feet in closer, if this is too challenging, please do. This is your workout. I'm testing myself, that's for sure. Okay, we're going to hold this last one down. We're going to hold. And if you're feeling pretty darn confident, you can take one arm off and then the other. So I am really focusing on my pressure points in my feet. Breathing deeply. I'm feeling this a lot in my glutes. And then standing up, standing up, standing up. Then step, tap it out. Wow, okay. How did you do? I save the hardest for last, But your body is very warmed up, very prepared, but that doesn't mean that you have to force it. For 4, release. 3, tap it out. 2, and last one here. Good, now step behind the 1 and the 1, and just kind of step it out, okay? So I'm just coming up on the ball of my foot and pressing that foot down, kind of like a modified jog. I don't like to do an actual jog for me because it's a little hard on my knees. This just feels good, just to kind of get energized in between our squat segments. And just a little shift of the hip. And then when you're ready, we're going to stand behind the 2, drop the board, 2, push your hips back. First, we're just going to hold this position. Keep those hips way back, abs in, chest lifted, light grip on the pole, use your breath. Now you can either stay here, or if you'd like to go into those reps, sit back, squeeze up. Focusing on those feet, proper alignment here. Use your breath to bring it up. Always trying your best to keep that board center. It really does help to pick a focal point. How are you doing? Are you with me? Getting really strong. Okay, we're just going to do 2 more of these, and then we're going to hold it at the bottom. if you can. Hold. And now if you want to try, you don't have to. Breathing. Whew. Feeling the burn in my muscles, but not in my joints. That's key. Press it up, press it up, press it up. Squeeze the tush. Drop the board, release the leg. Do a leg curl if you like. Wow. Really felt that. Work it out. Work it out. For 4 and 3 and 2. Last one here. Good. Now step and tap. Release it. Release it. Drop those shoulders and then step it more behind the 1 and the 1, and then again just go into that modified jog step. Just press, press, press. You can go slow or fast here, it doesn't matter. It's just if you want to feel a little bit more energized, you can speed it up a little bit. Feels good, actually. And then when you're ready, we're doing our last squat series. We're going to go behind the 1 and the 1. Staying here. Keep the hips back. So first we are just going to hold that squat position. So if you've got that center and you're feeling really good, you can go into your reps. Press. So for me, and for most people, with this stance, the squat is a little bit easier. Just push those hips back, grip the glutes, squeeze into the glutes at the top without throwing your back into it, please. Use your breath. Try to keep a straight spine. Really working those proprioceptors by what? Stabilizing center. Press. How are you doing? We're almost done. We're almost there. Let's do 4 and 3. How's your form? 2. And on this last one, we're going to hold it down. I'm pulling my abdominals in as tight as I can. And I'm going to give this a go. Breathing deeply. And then standing up. Woo! Leg curls. Holy cow. Wow, my legs are feeling pretty worked. How about you? Just release it out. And then bring it center again and just go into that modified jog. And then if you're ready, we're going to cool it down and stretch it out. And if you want to, you don't have to, but if you want to take off your tennis shoes and your socks, you can. You don't have to. But I'm going to do it because I'm going to go into a few yoga flows. And I just like the way my feet grip the floor. Okay, let's drop that board. Step down, and then just start kicking it out. Release, release, keep that going. I'm taking my shoes off and my socks. I'm wondering how you did with this workout today. Oh boy. Okay. Okay, so first let's just stretch out our low backs. Our low back really gets a lot of attention in these lower body workouts. So it's really important to stretch it out. Use your breath. And then slowly bringing it back up to standing. And now I want you to just put your hands right here. Feet are shoulder width apart. You're going to slightly arch, lift your chest, press your elbows back, and then release to neutral. Tuck your pelvis under. Then nice slight arch, press your hips forward, chest up. Then bring it back to center. Tuck the pelvis under. Again, inhale, exhale. Inhale, and exhale. And last time. And release. Okay, we're going to go into a warrior two pose. So you're going to do a wide stance. That right foot's going to be at a 90-degree angle. The left toes come slightly inward. Okay, so you're going to take a big inhale, reach for the ceiling. Exhale down into warrior two. Drop the shoulders. You're gazing at that middle finger. You're thinking about pressing that back heel into the floor. Dropping the shoulders and sending as much breath as you can through your body. Inhaling deeply through the nose. And as you exhale, if you can come down a little deeper, that's great. Then place your forearm on your thigh, zipper your arm up and over, and just breathe into that side body. Then release, and you're going to come back to the center, and then we're going to switch foot position. Left foot 90 degrees, right foot toes pointed in, a 45-degree angle here. Make sure your legs are far enough apart here. Inhale up. Exhale, bend, and going into that warrior two. Drive that back heel into the floor. Press this hip forward. Open your chest and drop those shoulders. Gazing over that middle finger. We're inhaling deeply through the nose for 7 counts, holding the breath for a few beats. Then exhaling slowly through the nose for 8 counts. Then place that forearm on your thigh, arm up and over, extend through those fingertips, open your chest, and breathe. And then slowly bringing it up. Walk the feet in, shoulder width apart. And we're gonna go into a chair pose, okay? So you're gonna push your hips back, bend the knees, lift your arms, lift your chest, tuck your pelvis slightly under, so you should feel a lot of heat and a lot of energy here in your thighs, and breathe. Ground those feet into the floor. And then standing up, hands on your hips. Press the hips forward, chest up. Press the elbows back, look up. Come back to neutral. Tuck the pelvis under. Okay, let's do a quadricep stretch. We just work our thighs so much in this routine, so let's take some extra breaths here, okay? Remember, if you can't do this one standing, if you have carpeting or a mat, you can do the same stretch on your side or on your stomach. Just keep those knees together, press the hips forward, and breathe. And then step all the way back, push that heel into the floor, and really breathe into your calf muscles here. Making sure both feet are pointing straight ahead here. And you're really trying your best to straighten that back leg, okay? So you can really get a deep stretch in your calf muscles. And then very slowly releasing out of that. And we're going to switch to the other side. Okay, knees together. Press the hips forward. And then step all the way back, push that heel into the floor, and breathe. And then release out of that. And I'm going to come on over to you for the hip for a hip stretch and see how you're doing. How did you do today? I know I love the yoga too. I need to do more time like with that, right? But I've told you this before. Hi, Lori. I've told you this before. I always do extra stretching. Usually I like to do it at the end of the day, or late afternoon, where I just put on some really nice music and just focus on my breathing and my stretching. I just, need it more than ever. We all do. And it's a great way to incorporate your meditation and your breathing, right? You get it all in one shot. Hi, Craig. The squatting does burn the thighs, absolutely. That's why I do it, because boy, we're building that stamina and strength in our quadriceps. And that's our foundation. So we're not gonna be caught, taking a fall and hurting our hips, are we? Because we just are too strong. You know what I mean? And our reaction time is so much better. So I hope you are sharing the wealth with all your friends and your family, because everybody needs the balance board. Okay. We're gonna take some extra breaths into those hips. What do you got planned for today? I think I gotta pull some weeds back there. They're getting out of control. And I'll probably do more stretching and jump on the computer, get some work done. How about you? You gonna do some gardening today? You gonna jump in a pool, do some laps? Don't forget to hydrate all day long. And then release and just kick it out. Well, as always, thank you so much for joining me today. I always love to see you guys. And don't forget to do Dan's class tomorrow, the board basics and really digging deep with the brain-body connection. And of course, Kathy, our wonderful Kathy's Wellness Wednesday. Dan's more advanced class on Thursday, and then my full body workout, half on the board, half off the board on Friday. So I'll look forward to that. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Really try to think of ways to challenge yourself with building your stamina. Okay, just do those little spurts like I told you about with whatever you're doing. Just kind of try to incorporate some of those into your exercise routines, okay? Have a beautiful day. Stay hydrated. Much love, and I will see you on Friday. Bye, everybody.